Good morning again to everyone. My name is Ifigenia Stolova. I work on the Interoperable Europe Community team, and today I will guide you through this session on the Interoperable Europe Agenda. It's the second one of our Interoperable Europe Community Talks. And considering the importance of the agenda and the fact that we have an open consultation now for you to shape it, we thought it would be a very, very positive experience to have this session for you today. And we've brought to you a representative of the Interoperable Europe Secretariat to guide you through this consultation process. So if we can now move to the next slide, please. We can start with some housekeeping rules. So for this session, we will have a Slido link that will be provided in the chat. You will also have a QR code in which you can ask your questions, but also interact with us. You can also use the chat if you prefer. We invite you to participate actively during today's community talk, as I said, through the Slido, through the Q&A, through different live polls. And if you want, you can also unmute your mic at some point if you want to engage more directly with us. But during the presentation, we would like to kindly ask you to keep your camera and microphones off so that everyone can have a good experience during the session. So also this meeting will be recorded for internal purposes, but also for documentation reasons, so that we can share with those participants that could not join today live. So unless I mean, some of you have any objection, I will start recording. Or well, it's been already recording, but unless you have objections, we will not stop the recording. So this webinar is organized under the umbrella of the Interoperable Europe Community. And if we can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, you can join the Slido, first of all. So well, we have this slide with the QR code to join. You can do that, but also you can go to the link that is shared in the chat in case that's easier. Just a reminder, if you can keep your mics closed during the meeting, that would be great. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Then if we move to the next slide, this is the agenda of today's meeting. We will shortly remind you or introduce you to the Interoperable Europe community. Then we will move to the Interoperable Europe Agenda to understand how it is actually shaped. And then we continue with the ongoing consultation to understand the key priorities and how your input can shape them. And last but not least, we will have step-by-step on how to take part in the consultation. And last but not least, we have a Q&A in which you can share your questions directly. And at the very end, we will be sharing with you some updates on what are the next events that the community will be organizing for you. So if we move to the next slide, as I said already, I will be guiding you through the Interoperable Europe community in case you're not aware what it is. But this community talk series is organized under the umbrella of the Interoperable Europe community, and it was established by Article 16 of the Interoperable Europe Act as part of the governance. To contribute to the development of seamless digital public services. It's part of the governance, as I said, but we encompass also the rest of the sub-communities from which you might be coming. So you might be already familiar with monitoring, with Public Sector Tech Watch, Interoperability Architecture Solutions, CEMIC, OZOR, Digital Ready Policy Making, our Academy, or PM Square. But if we actually go to the previous slide, I think it would be good to know if you're a current member of the community, if you are not a member, if you just joined, or if you're interested in joining. I think that would be good to have an overview of who we have here with us today. So it's good to see that we have already quite some members of the community, but also some of you are interested in becoming one of those. Okay. Okay, so you have someone who just joined. That's very, very positive. Welcome on board. Very good. Don't be shy. You can still scan the QR code and vote in the Slido poll. All right. Okay, let's then move to the overview of the community. So I already briefly explained what the community is about. One of our main tasks, maybe we can go to the next slide, is to support the Interoperable Europe Board as part of the governance by providing advice, expertise to guide the overall direction of the cooperation. More precisely, this is where the community comes in, and where you also come in is to give input to the Interoperable Europe Agenda, which is the strategic document in which my colleague Tiago Suarez will share with you and invite you to shape together. Then you might be wondering who can become a member of the community. Well, actually, it's open to all public and private stakeholders, as well as civil society organizations and academic contributors that are residing or have a registered office in a member state. So you literally would just need to go into the page and join the collection. When it comes to the membership, it's a public membership, and unless there are any force majeure reasons, you will continue having this membership, or it might be revoked, but under very exceptional circumstances. As members of the community, you can contribute to the content of the portal, of the Interoperable Europe portal. You can provide expertise with regard to the development of the interoperability solutions, participate in working groups and relevant activities, participate in support measures, and also to promote the use of interoperability standards and frameworks. You can also take part in our annual online assembly. We had our very first one last year, but we are also organizing the 2026 edition. So stay tuned to our social media. And then when it comes to the code of conduct, it is important that as part of a community, we have a way of coexisting together in full respect, and that everyone can contribute openly to the community. If we move to the next slide, yes, thank you. When I said how can you contribute, we have the agenda, and this is where we will be focusing on today. We will soon be launching our peer reviews, a voluntary mechanism to be established for the purpose of facilitating cooperation between public sector bodies. Then you're also invited to start your own discussions on topics of interest. And as I already mentioned, our main community events are related to the annual assembly, which will be happening this fall as of September onwards, and then our community talks, just like this one. If you move to the next slide. Yeah, this is exactly what I mentioned on how to join the community, which I invite you to do. I see that the colleagues shared all the relevant links in the chat, so if you haven't done so, I invite you to do that now. And next slide, please. Voila, so now I will give the floor to my colleague Tiago Suarez, who will guide you through the Interoperable Europe Agenda and the relevant consultation.
Thank you, Ifi. Can you hear me well? Yes, okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this session dedicated to the Interoperable Europe Agenda. We can move to the next slide, please. We have here a Slido to ask first, how familiar are you with the Interoperable Europe Agenda? So it would be good to understand the setting here among the participants. And while we do that, I will introduce myself. My name is Tiago Soares Barbizan, and I support the Interoperable Europe Secretariat in every topic that is related to the governance, so the Interoperable Europe Board, permanent working group, the steering board, and also following the Interoperable Europe Agenda. So we see here that we have some members of the participants are somewhat familiar, mostly with the agenda. Some heard about it, but not sure. So don't worry, we have you covered today. We have an introduction on the agenda to have everybody at the same page before we start. So if we move with the presentation, again, here I am. I'm your presenter today, and I'm very happy to be here with you on a Friday morning to learn more from you as well on your views on the Interoperable Europe Agenda. So we can start with the next slide. We wanted to go back to the Interoperable Europe Act and look into Article 19, which is the article that provides the provisions about the Interoperable Europe Agenda. And here you can see that this is an annual exercise, right? So after running a public consultation process via the Interoperable Europe portal, the members of the Interoperable Europe Community and Interoperability coordinators can provide input to shape an agenda that the board would adopt then every year. And what is this agenda about? It is a roadmap looking into, as the point you see on the screen, needs assessment for the development of interoperability solutions, a list of ongoing and planned Interoperable Europe support measures, a list of proposals, proposed follow-up actions and innovation measures, including actions in support of open source solutions, the identification of synergies with other relevant union and national programs and initiatives, and also an indication of available financial opportunities to support the priorities included in the agenda. So you will see that the agenda that we will discuss today is structured following these elements that Article 19 provides. If we go to the next slide, we have a timeline showing you the process of setting up the Interoperable Europe Agenda. The first one was done last year in 2025. So we followed a first phase on preparation, preparing background documents for the agenda consultation. And this is all done with members of the permanent working group, which is set up by representatives of the different member states. Then after preparing the consultation, this is launched via the portal and the Interoperable Europe Community, as Ify explained in her introduction. After getting this input from all different stakeholders, we go into a drafting phase. This is a co-creation process with the member states via the permanent working group, as I just mentioned. And this, you can imagine, there's a lot of discussions and alignment on what should be featured in the agenda as a priority. And then there's a phase for consolidating that draft so that the board can adopt an agenda. This was the process for last year. In December 2025, the board adopted the first agenda. And as this is an annual exercise, we are having now the consultation for the review of this agenda for 2027. And this is the context in which this community talk is happening today. So if we go forward in our slides, we have also another slide asking the question if you participated in the consultation on the Interoperable Europe Agenda. Last year, this was launched If I remember well, it was launched in June 2025, and we got a lot of very interesting contributions by stakeholders, which was really central to shape the priorities that are featured in the agenda, and also to guide the discussions with the permanent working group as well. Of course, the results of the consultation is just one of the input that serves for drafting the agenda. And here we see that most of participants today have not contributed to the agenda consultation, but plan to do so. This is great. And some would like to understand better, and a few have contributed in the past. So if we go to the next slide, we have, as I said, the Interoperable Europe Agenda. It's published, is available in the portal. So we have two streams of activities running in parallel in 2026. The implementation of this agenda that was adopted by the board, and the work to update the agenda for 2027. So now we can move to the following slide, where we will start diving into the agenda that is currently adopted and being implemented. So as I said before, the agenda is structured on the different elements provided by the Article 19. And here you have element 1 that is looking to the needs for development of interoperability solutions. And we have two priorities. One, looking into laying the foundations for a shared understanding about the future of Europe interoperability landscape. Priority 2 is looking into solutions for cross-border data exchange. Element 2 is focused on support and innovation measures, and the priorities are looking to identifying EU policies where support measures would provide the most benefit. Also looking into innovative interoperability solutions tailored to public sector challenges, and interoperability solutions for digital sovereignty. Element 3 is looking to synergies with other relevant union and national programs and initiatives. And here the board and the permanent working group decided to focus on AI in the public sector as this transversal topic across the different governance bodies. And on element 4, financial opportunities in support of the priorities, we have the priority 7 to explore opportunities under the multi-country projects to support the implementation of the agenda. So now we will dive deeper into each one of these priorities together. We start now with the next slide on priority 1. And here you will always have this structure, which is also present in the published agenda, that on the left side, you have the motivations or the pain points that led to the actions that you see on the right side. So here, I will not read the entire slide because then this presentation will become very boring, but you can see that the motivations on the side are really concrete. So public administrations are acting in this highly complex ecosystem of rules and digital solutions and make the adoption of new solutions challenging. Many member states have good experience using interoperability architecture at their national level to move towards more interoperability nationally. The work on the more actionable EIF is ongoing this year as well, the European Interoperability Framework. So all these led to some actions that are really concrete and that are being carried out by the members of the Permanent Working Group with the support of the European Commission. So one of the actions are to map recommended solutions and solutions identified as high potential towards a high-level interoperability architecture logic. What does that mean? In parallel to the agenda consultation, there's also a survey where stakeholders are asked to recommend interoperability solutions to get the label Interoperable Europe Solution and be featured in the portal as such. And why that is important? Because interoperability assessments need to indicate which of these interoperability solutions are being used, right? This is also something that the Act asks. So what the permanent working group is doing now, there is a dedicated task force to really map these solutions that are being recommended using EIRA, the European Interoperability Reference Architecture, as a starting point. So a series of peer learning sessions are being organized around these solutions to discuss them and to assess them against the criteria that was set by the board. And then this mapping will tell us which are the gaps, which type of solutions are needed to be developed jointly, maybe among member states, and also serve as input for the agenda. So we can go to the next priority, which is also linked to this. So here we are really talking about what are the needs of public administrations in order to be more interoperable, to really provide digital services that are interoperable. So here you can see that the actions are linked to the creation of a semantic registry, linking existing European and national semantic models that then member states can reuse and extend their needs based on common standards and design principles. And for that, the core of this action is to improve the identification of public entities by leveraging semantic solutions that are very established, like the Core Public Service Vocabulary Application Profile, CPS-VAP, and supporting their implementation in related EU policies and member states. So this is a data model to standardize the description of public services and the associated life and business events. As a follow-on to this is the development of a training on application programming interfaces, design principles, and their application. So this is being looked as an e-learning model that will be created for that. So these are the two priorities under element 1, and now we will go to element 2 on the next slide, which is looking into the Interoperable Europe support and innovation measures. And here you have 3 actions under this priority, which is the identification of EU policies where support measures would provide the most benefit. So what does that mean? It means that we were going to look into interoperability assessments that were carried out by the European Commission policy initiatives to then identify needs for solutions and support measures. We will also be looking into facilitating the reuse of digital-ready policy-making guidance and peer exchange, and share use cases of Interoperable Europe solutions via the portal to help policymakers and practitioners access their relevance when drafting policies and carrying their own interoperability assessments. There is a lot of material that is already available to support the implementation of such priority, and this will be done throughout 2026, of course. Also under element 2, we have priority 4 in the next slide, which is looking to innovative interoperability solutions that are tailored to public sector challenges. And here we are looking into partnerships of running public-private collaboration activities related to trans-European digital public services. So everything that happens under GovTech, there's the GovTech for All incubator, and there's also synergies with the European Commission startup scale-up strategy. And another action is the establishment of interoperability regulatory sandboxes. And here the permanent working group was really concerned about having very strong governance mechanisms around interoperability regulatory sandboxes, and to also look what are the other regulatory sandboxes. As you may know, the AI Act also promotes the establishment of regulatory sandboxes. So here is looking what these other sandboxes are achieving as outcomes, and to ensure that there is coordination when there is one dedicated to interoperability being carried out. Here, maybe in the Q&A we can talk more about regulatory sandboxes, but let's move then to the next priority, which is linked to interoperability solutions for digital sovereignty. And here it's really the contribution that open source solutions can have on sovereignty at large. So as you may know, there is a European open source solutions catalog that is available on the Interoperable Europe portal. And this is a centralized commission managed catalog of reusable open source solutions, which are developed by and for EU institutions, member states, and public bodies. So this is already available. It's very well established on the portal, and it's open for everyone, but there are activities linked to having an academic course looking into this catalog, and also disseminating information about the catalog among stakeholders and with the community as well. Then there is the other action that is the guidelines for sharing and reuse of interoperability solutions. So if I have all these solutions available, how do I use them? What will guide my decision on what is the most appropriate for my case? How I maybe share solutions that I developed with other member states. So these guidelines are being prepared as we speak. There were workshops with the permanent working group, and also a dedicated task force for that to draft these guidelines. And I think the timeline is to seek for adoption by the board in the next board meeting in May. So this will also be a resource that will be available on the portal. And then these are the priorities linked to element 2, and now we look into element 3 in the next slide, which is the synergies with other union and national programs. And here the focus is really on artificial intelligence in the public sector. And the action was to adhere to AI programs for responsible interoperable AI deployment in the public sector. And this means that we need to make sure that AI solutions are developed with interoperability in mind, right? And that interoperable Europe solutions, those that are labeled, can help to steer the development of AI solutions that are based on reliable semantic assets, and that is adhering to data protection standards and ethical guidelines. Finally, under element 4, next slide, the last priority also on the agenda is to explore opportunities under upcoming multi-country projects to support the implementation of the agenda. And here is to encourage member states to evaluate the potential to participate in this multi-country project, and also under the multi-country projects and the impact ethic, innovative massive public administration, interconnected transformation services, to use these interoperability solutions to enhance public service interoperability. In January 20th, I think, the Commission published a call for multi-country projects under DEP, and this will steer the development of interoperability solutions for sure as an outcome when you have member states working together to develop these assets for cross-border digital public services. And of course, this will be also supporting the implementation of the Act. I think now we covered all the priorities under the current Interoperable Europe Agenda, and we will shift now the presentation to talk about the ongoing consultation. So if we go to the next slides, we provided like we have like a step-by-step, but first I would like to explain. The agenda is adopted, it's available on the portal. So what we wanted to understand is hear from stakeholders and the Interoperable Europe community. Are these priorities still relevant for the next iteration of the agenda? Should they continue featuring on the agenda? Is there anything else that needs to be considered that the current agenda is not looking into right now? So you see the agenda is a very dynamic document. The idea is that it's not let's say nothing that that is there already cannot be changed or cannot be adapted, because there is this need for flexibility when setting such agenda in the context of technology, which goes very fast, right? So this is the main focus of the agenda consultation that is open now. So if you, as you can see here on the slide, when going to the Interoperable Europe Community website, you have a link to have your say, and then you be guided to the landing page of the agenda consultation. So if we go to the next slide, you have the screenshot of the landing page where you have more detailed information about the context of this consultation. And then when you click on the contribute here, if we go to the next slide, we have here the start of the form. So on the top, you see that there is this welcome message, and then you will be guided through the different elements of the agenda to provide your input. And the next slide you see is exactly what I said shortly before, is basically 3 simple questions. Should the priorities linked to element X of the agenda be sustained in the next iteration? Yes, no, no opinion, and then you can also provide your input in written form. Should the actions linked to element 1 continue to be applicable? Yes, no, no opinion, and also an open field for comments. And is there anything missing that should be considered and incorporated in the upcoming iteration of the agenda under this element? So under each one of the elements, you will be given the opportunity to answer these 3 questions. And then by the end, on the next slide, you are also prompted to a page where you can upload materials. So if you have a position paper, if you have an opinion that your organization or your team wrote that would then complement your input to the consultation, you have the option to upload this document, but also you need to grant us consent to upload this on the portal, of course. And then you submit your input to the consultation. And on the following slide, you have a thank you message. And you see in the bottom that you are prompted to go to the survey I mentioned in the beginning, which is to recommend solutions to get the label Interoperable Europe solution. So this would lead you to another page dedicated to this survey. I think now we have another Slido, if I'm not mistaken. After looking into all the priorities, all the different actions, we wanted to hear from you. Today is also an opportunity for us to collect your feedback on what topic or priority would you like to see reflected in the Interoperable Europe Agenda. So as I explained, this is an exercise that we will review the agenda and restart that timeline I presented in the beginning with gathering input from stakeholders and then going to the drafting phase with the permanent working group. So feel free to type your input. As we said in the beginning, don't be shy. Or if you want to also open your audio and share your input, I guess you are free to do so. And I will pause now and we can go to the Q&A as well. I think what we see on the screen, AI, open source solutions, information security, cybersecurity frameworks. These are featured in the current agenda as it is published now, but maybe it needs to be more evident on the next iteration. So I hand over back to Ife. Maybe we have the Q&A now.
Yes. I mean, here I see some replies that I guess were mainly for the previous question on the word cloud, but if any of the participants would like to explain a bit more about their suggestions for the word cloud, I think we would welcome that. I think this is kind of like a pre-exercise before the actual input to the agenda. So it's good that we're having it now and we're all invited to reflect together. So if you have any questions, you can use the Slido, you can write it in the chat, but you can also unmute yourselves. See? I think it was a very good presentation, very good overview of the agenda, the priorities, and also to explain step by step how to find the consultation on the community collection and how to contribute to the questions. So I don't know if we will have any questions. Again, don't be shy. We're here to discuss all together, to shape the future Interoperable Europe Agenda. Let's see. Okay. So I assume that, of course, it's a Friday morning. Okay. I see a question here. Is there a list of members belonging to the board? Would you want to take this one? Yes.
Maybe, well, each member state nominates a representative to be part of the Interoperable Europe Board, and also their representatives as part of the permanent working group. So I don't understand the question. Is this asking if there is if this is public available? I don't understand.
Yes, sorry, this is me raising the question. Do you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was just curious to know if indeed this list of members of the board could be publicly available. Can it be shared with the audience? Should we have any interaction with these members representative from country perspective? We can always liaise with them and maybe provide them some input that could be also of help, I believe.
Thank you for your clarification. Yes, at the moment, this is not available on the portal, but I can bring this request to the Interoperable Europe Secretariat for sure, and see how we can follow up on that. There is another question: how can the community contribute to the creation of the upcoming interoperability assessment guidelines? I think the guidelines are available on the Interoperable Europe portal at the moment. I don't know if you want to elaborate further on the upcoming interoperability assessment guidelines. Who raised the question?
Okay, the microphone
Okay,
is
your microphone is not working. Okay, I mean there is currently guidelines for running interoperability assessment, which is available on the Interoperable Europe portal. Of course, this is also not a static document, and the permanent working group is constantly discussing it. And most probably, as we evolve on the priorities that I just mentioned, these guidelines will need to be revisited. Yeah, I don't know if you see any other hands raised or any other questions.
No, I'm wondering just if we can scroll to see if there's anything else, but I don't see any more questions because we addressed the members of the board. How can the community contribute? Okay. Could you repeat, please, if the consultation is mandatory until the 3rd of April 2026?
Yes, this is the deadline that was set for the consultation is the 3rd of April. And it's open on the Interoperable Europe portal. The team provided the links here on the chat, and I guess after this session there will be some follow-up as well, and this can be shared again with all of you.
Let's see if we have any other questions, and if not, we can move to the next steps. And I think it's actually, yes.
If it could be a good moment to say that next week we have
That's
a
on the next
community
slide,
talk
indeed.
on the
Right.
assessments, on the assessment space, and yes, we will be looking at some needs or user needs that well from member states and organizations to improve the space. So it can be a good thing to point out.
Yes, and the information that I think we will be able to see on the next slide when it comes to the next steps. You will be able to engage with the team working on the interoperability assessments. They will be presenting to you the new assessment space, but also the assessments toolbox that was very recently published. So following on the questions that we received, I would encourage you to scan and to register for this community talk. So if we don't have any more questions, I would like to thank you all for participating today, for taking the time on a Friday morning to join and learn about the agenda and the consultation. and also to invite you to join the next series of events that we will be organizing, namely this community talk on the assessments happening next Thursday. And when it comes to what happens now, so you will be receiving the presentation of this community talk, a quick satisfaction survey, but also we invite you to join the Interoperable Europe community if you haven't done so yet, to subscribe to our newsletter, because that's where we share all the events, not only from the community, but also from the Interoperable Europe ecosystem. Of course, if you have any questions, we are more than available to reply to them via our functional mailbox through Digit IOPO community. And also to scan and to share your QR code if you have to scan the QR code and share your feedback should you have any, because this is a constant improvement exercise and we would like to also tackle topics that you're interested in. So do let us know how you feel about this series of events. And once again, thanks a lot for joining. I think if no questions, and we can then join the next session, and we will see each other very soon. Thanks a lot.